So, Glenn Beck, man, you could say what you want about conservatives and conservative talk radio and whatnot, but I used to be very, very into conservative talk radio. I consider myself conservative leaning, more of a classic liberal sense, constitutionalist. Um, that's kind of where my politics lie. Like, I think the Constitution of the United States is not perfect by any means, but the closest human beings have gotten to a perfect way to outline a system of government. Okay, that's just how I feel about it. I know a lot of people feel differently, especially in this day and age, but that's how I feel about it. And I'm right on the verge of millennial, by the way. So some people consider me a millennial. I was born in 1984. Some people don't. Some people don't think it started unless you were born in the 90s. Anyway, that was kind of a side note. But I'm a huge, huge fan of Glenn Beck. And I haven't always been. Now, Glenn Beck has changed a bit through the years. And I believe the biggest changes probably happened after he came to terms with his alcoholism and found God. Um, it just made a big difference in his life. He changed the way that he approaches his, conservative commentary, which is when I started really enjoying him. He was the only person who, after this last election, um, empathized with the left, who had just lost a huge, huge election. Um, Instead of, like everyone else, all the other conservative talk radio show hosts, Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, and the like, they just were kind of like, ha-ha, in-your-face type, like, we won, you lost, get over it type, where Glenn was a little more empathetic. And I don't think he would have been like that, say, 10 years ago. But with his kind of new approach, where he just wants people to work together, man, people to come together with common ideas, because we have a lot more things in common than we do apart. We're in this tribal state right now, like worse than in any time in recent history, and it's detrimental to a democratic society. Um, I just I like his approach. His approach is, let's talk. His approach is, let's find out where we can work together. Not focus on all these things that we don't have in common, but we're Americans, right? And we have that in common. We love America, and we can find the things that we have in common, which are probably going to be much bigger than the differences that we have, and figure out a way to make it work. Because and he does this without compromising principle. That's what's so great about it. Glenn's approach is literally, it's like, let's talk, let's have a conversation. Um, you can tell me your views, I can tell you mine, but we're not going to demonize each other. I'm not going to call you names because of your beliefs. I'm not going to act like you're beneath me because of your beliefs. You just, you've had different experiences, you have different outlooks based on them, and it is what it is. But we're human beings, and we can relate on that level more than anything else. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat, Republican, independent, socialist, a communist, capitalist. There are things we can come together on, and that's, basic human decency. You know, not treating each other like shit. Like, this is why I love Glenn so much, is because he hones in on that. Also, I love the humor on that show. Like, it reminds me, Glenn's a big nerd, and so is everyone else that he has hosting the show with him. Like, I absolutely love their sense of humor. I could listen to them, and do listen to them, for hours at a time sometimes. And just listen to them go back and forth, and just the ridiculous things that they say is absolutely, it's hilarious. I think his sense of humor with the co-hosts of his show reminds me of me and some of my friends, and I just think it's absolutely hilarious. And it's not along political lines whatsoever. It's just that sense of humor is something I really enjoy. Also, um, I like that Glenn will call out Republicans on things, and that's something that no one else seems to do. Like I watch or listen to Sean Hannity or Rush Limbaugh. I can't listen to them very long because literally they'll never take responsibility or think that anything that the Republicans do is wrong. And Glenn and his co-hosts are very good at calling out when Trump does something wrong. Now, they will do when he says something right, but they'll also call him out when he does something wrong. So that's probably my favorite thing, and the reason I can still listen to him and I don't really follow any of the other conservative hosts anymore is because I can't stand a hypocrite. And Glenn is one person that is not a hypocrite. Like I said, he'll call out people on the right all the time. And he's not one of those. Everyone else seems to go, when they do something right that people get upset about in government, they'll say, oh, well, Obama did this type of stuff all the time, and the left didn't have a problem with it, so we're going to do it now. It's like, Glenn doesn't do that. He calls that out, and he's like, look, man, we didn't like it when the last president did it, and we still don't like it when the new president does it. There's not a new set of rules depending on who's in office. So that's a big thing to me. Like, that's integrity to me. That's being true to your principles. Like, if you didn't like tariffs and you didn't like executive orders under Obama, then you shouldn't like tariffs or executive orders under Trump. You shouldn't change your beliefs based on who's in office, you know what I mean? If you don't like something, you don't like it. If you don't believe in something, you don't believe in it, no matter who's doing it. And so that's the biggest thing. And also, I love that Glenn does so much outreach in combating human trafficking. Like, that's a huge thing that him and his business does. He's created a foundation that goes in and rescues women and girls who have been sold into sex trafficking rings. And, I just admire that so much. Anyway, that's it. This is my video of why I love Glenn Beck and why I think you should give him a chance too. Whether you're a conservative, a liberal, an independent, it doesn't matter. I think that you'll find some value, and I think that if you're on the left, you will find something you weren't expecting. Someone that stands up for what he believes in, but he's not an asshole, and he likes to collaborate and get along with people and find, common ideals and common principles that you can work together with. So that's why I love him. That's why you should check him out. Thanks for watching my video. If you're into this type of thing where I just talk about stuff that I enjoy, or I do movie reviews, television reviews, I do comic book hauls, I talk about comic books, nerd shit, pop culture, just anything that comes to mind. I fire up the camera and I shoot a one-take video about it. If you're into that sort of thing, subscribe for more, because that's what I do here. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.